like you were a duty, but now you're a real cutie, and we brought you to our valley somehow.
Though you look like you, we think you like us too, 'cause we're a family and you're one of us now.
We're a family and you're one of us now. We're a family and you're one of us now. Though you look like you, we think you like us too, 'cause we're a family and you're one of us now.
I won't join your team. Don't try to make me. And YouTube demonetization. Hi, it's Prince of Queens. So lots happened on YouTube over the past couple of days, and I felt compelled to define myself a bit further as an individual. Unfortunately, that's hard because I'm a free thinker that doesn't like labels. If I like you, I can lend you temporary allying and support, but it will always be on my terms because that's how allies work. They owe you nothing, so aligning with any ally is a two-way street. I am certainly rather sick and tired of feminists and anti-racist activists compiling lists of demands for their potential allies, so I hope free speech activists and people who raise awareness for the issues of men and boys that agree with me on certain issues never try to do the same with me. But I suspect that it will happen eventually if my channel grows and my opinion seems to hold more gravity. Still, I will not take on a label because I've done that already too many times in the past, and it's always served to be a mistake. The second I identified with something, like clockwork, I found reasons not to. More than that, I started encountering people telling me how I had to behave and think as an individual if I were to take on such a label. So all I am now is a homosexual male, writer, musician, cis, artist type. The end. Do you like how I threw in cis in the middle of that? I search for the truth with skepticism. See, the first rule of being a truth seeker, in my opinion, is accepting that absolute truth doesn't exist. We can search for it and maybe even find it within ourselves, but good luck ever successfully fully communicating that to somebody else before it changes. And it always does. This concept of some level of subjective truth existing has been utilized by the regressive left to deny any sort of objective reality, while simultaneously manipulating its followers into suiting their agenda. Statements like, "gender is a social construct," become a tool not to free people from gender roles like they claim, but to demonize masculinity and to guilt-trip masculine people into subservience. Statements like, "race is a human invention," doesn't actually serve to unify people in most instances like people claim, but rather usually is utilized to blame white men for giving race a historic label at some point in time, as if nobody saw skin color or hair color before that. As if white men simply invented racism as a tool of oppression to their benefit. Obviously, these ideas from the regressive left bug me. YouTube suffered a big hit just today or a few days ago as a new bot was introduced to demonize videos with specific content. Of course, this content was the type of thing that I talk about, so I would have been hit too probably if I had monetized my videos yet. Friends of mine were, apparently. I'm guessing it likely had something to do with Hillary Clinton's speech about the alt-right, which basically lumped people like myself as a former Sanders supporter who will never vote for Trump into the same category as Paul Joseph Watson, simply because I disagreed with Milo Yiannopoulos being banned from Twitter. If you go and watch my video about Milo's ban from a bit over a month ago, I talk about my biggest fear, which is the destabilization of the internet due to the censorship that has begun on every major social media platform. Facebook, Twitter, and now YouTube are no longer places for free expression of ideas. And don't make any excuses for them being private companies. That's insane. They were designed to share ideas, and we live in a country that will basically crucify a small business for not wanting to participate in a homosexual wedding. If you are going to say that small businesses who bake cakes or cook pizzas must be demanded to serve every customer, then you better believe social media sites like with millions and millions of users should be open forum for ideas. The people getting in trouble are not getting in trouble because of threats or anything inappropriate mostly. It's usually just for their opinions. And that's downright freaky. I don't know what the future holds or who to vote for. I will likely be voting for Gary Johnson, not because I subscribe to the ideals of the Libertarian Party entirely by a long shot, but simply because I want somebody with a long history of free speech advocacy to have a seat at the table and be able to debate, because this Orwellian nightmare is something I want to wake up from in my lifetime. But while we head into the storm we are likely just in the eye of, I want to remind you that I am on your side, but I will never join your team. Although I criticize feminism on my channel kind of a lot, I still have many friends and family members who identify as feminists, and I don't think they won't come around once the evidence is presented to them. They simply just don't really know much about fourth wave feminists and what they've been up to. I keep trying to show people the talk between Christina Hoff Sommers and Camille Paglia that happened a month or two ago, but few people actually watch it because it is an hour long. Similarly, though I love people like the Honey Badgers pretty thoroughly, I have a few criticisms of the men's rights movement and many of the people I've encountered with the label associated to them as a whole. Just a few, but I worry that as the movement grows bigger, there will be more and more potential for corruption, so I will not take on that label. But please know that I'm rooting for you guys at the moment, and I have no problem supporting you with my words, or if anybody wants me on a live stream, even somebody that I disagree with about a few things. I will probably go on it, and I might even donate some money to you guys. Also, the same goes from feminists. I would totally do a live stream with a few feminists if I knew that they would be civil and let me talk. At the end of the day, I'm just some gay guy, and honestly, I'd love more than anything to live in a world like I did 8 years ago or so, where music and theater were my main hobby and passion. That was awesome. I'd love to have that back. But it's just not the times politically. I can't afford to do that. Occasionally, we run into times in society where the good people need to remind the other good people that we are on their side. But also, we have to make sure they know that they don't want us to be against them. Because if we were, we would expose them for the evil they truly are. Have a good night.